Hey, what's going on? Tommy over here with another random video. This is going to be our first video of Godzilla month, and I'm here with my dad, who is the one responsible for getting me into Godzilla. So,
Thank you.
yes. My dad writes books. You should go check out his books. Shameless plug right off the bat. Because we're gonna forget if we don't mention it right now, because we're both huge Godzilla nerds. So we're just gonna geek out about Godzilla if we don't say this now. So I dropped a link in my last video. I'm doing it again. Link to Amazon in the description below. If you want to check out his books, they're really good. They're better than my shitty writing, so go check it out.
You're a good writer, don't.
But we're here today to talk about Godzilla. So to set the scene, I'm probably gonna upload these all out of order since we're gonna talk about all things Godzilla leading up to the new film. We used to watch Ultraman before Godzilla. I feel like Ultraman was what we were watching before, right?
We used to watch Ultraman with your sister every Sunday morning.
Right. And so we were watching Ultraman, and that was my first jam before Godzilla. And then I distinctly remember this for some reason. Either I just made it up and smoked something. I don't remember doing this. It's we had the VHS tape of Godzilla. It was a bootleg VHS tape.
You're right. Yeah.
And I picked it up and I was like, I want to watch this. And you were like, no, you're not going to like that. And then we watched it and it blew my mind into a million pieces. As far as I can remember, that's the first Godzilla movie I ever saw. Was the 90s Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
That was 1993, and the tape belonged to my friend Eddie at Midtown Racquetball.
Right, because you said that you were watching them with your friends.
Because Eddie was another Godzilla, nut. And back then he was single and had money. I was married and didn't, so he could send away to Japan and get all these tapes. So he did. He bootlegged. We started talking about it to pass the time at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing undignified manual labor and stuff like that, you do anything to pass the time. And that's when I found out he was a Godzilla fan. He's like, did you see the new 90s movies? I'm like, huh? It's like, yeah, they made a bunch of movies. I'm like, really? So he said, yeah. So he said, I'll bring in some tapes. I'll copy the tapes for you. So he made the tapes and I brought them home. And I had seen, I think the one Biolante was the first one that I saw.
Right, because that one had a U.S. release.
Yeah,
so you could rent that at Blockbuster. Remember those Blockbuster video? Yeah, but yeah,
I know that's really dating ourselves, Blockbuster. But
you were talking about antenna TV, so you're already
I know. Black and white. Anybody remember black and white television? We actually had to get up.
Probably not
and
in my
change
audience.
You had to actually get up, walk over, and change the channel, and then you had to fine tune. You had to tune to get the thing in, and you had to turn the antenna on top of the black and white TV, and then go back and sit back down and watch. And there was no stereo. There was no color.
Right. I hear
now that I've aged myself, totally and completely.
Good.
But yeah, you're exactly right. We watched that in the family room, and you did. You were like, oh. I thought it would be, I don't know. Oh, you're not gonna like this. It's too maybe too scary, or it's too, it's not. Ultraman. I love Ultraman, but it was kind of campy.
Right, and it still totally is.
You knew it was campy. You knew there were guys in rubber suits.
Like the guy who creates the monster. He wishes on the alien rock.
Right.
Yeah, it's for kids.
It's for kids.
And Godzilla, the '90s and the original weren't for kids.
Yeah,
you could, but they weren't just friend of humanity.
Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, when they totally reinvent Godzilla, that's not really a movie you're going to take your 8 or 9-year-old to see.
Right.
I just think, some of the special effects, I could have done without the robot guy. I could have, and
with the CD
ear. I could have lived without that. But when the submarine is going down to chase Godzilla, and they have that one moment where that light hits him and you just see this massive silhouette, and this is like,
he's back.
Wow. And then he comes out of the water, and they have the harp.
The harp, all this beautiful harp.
And it looks like Godzilla's been to the gym with Arnold, and he's just
Yeah,
huge.
just like jacked as fuck.
His arms, his chest, and he's just like this beast. He's like, yeah. Been to the gym.
That was like so great because it has like this like swelling harp thing as like the water like churns up, and then he comes out, and then it goes into the theme like the like, really like heavy brass, and then you're just like yeah fucking A. They had like that scene after they revive him. Yeah. And they're just like, oh shit, we're fucked.
It's like bigger than before.
Right. Here's the interesting thing though, because this is back in the early 90s. No internet, none of that shit. So I didn't have it. I still have never looked up and like gotten any like actual details in terms of like the specifics of this franchise. Like I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of this other than me watching the films themselves. I'd always thought, however, that Ghidorah was the first of the Heisei era films, and maybe it's not. The first one was Godzilla in 1985.
Yeah.
Then Biollante. Then that one.
Like I said,
which is because the way it presents the story, you think that that's the first one of that kind of era.
I mean, I saw Godzilla in 1985, and I have to admit,
he fought a spaceship.
Boo! Yeah. It did. You
have like 30 years of friggin'.
Yeah. There's no creature. It's the X1 or S1 or Super X or something like that, and I like the end because he melts the diamond plating and the ship gets toasted, and there you get what you deserve.
Then they lock him in the volcano at the end.
Yeah.
I don't remember how because I've only seen that movie like a few times, but yeah, but you think about it, it makes sense because Biollante. He busts out of the volcano. So
that's because his skin's glowing and his armor's glowing.
It's the second movie. And that was the interesting thing about the 90s films, that they all had a singular continuity, which was badass. Because even some of the Millennium era films broke continuity or did some different things. But like the entire 90s films had the same characters, the same recurring characters, a continual storyline, and it was just like really interesting. I dug that.
The only bad thing I didn't like is how they used. I mean, it was like the whole baby Godzilla thing.
Yeah, they didn't need to fucking.
They didn't.
This sucked in the 60s and the 70s, and then they're just like, we're gonna bring him back and have him eat a hamburger in Mechagodzilla. Like, what the fuck? And then he's like super chibi anime eyes in Space Godzilla.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna do it, don't make it a puppet thing like that.
What? That was like so they could like throw it on like cups in like an anime style. And
it was
a return to the Showa era.
Kids. Look, you want to watch that? Watch a Gamera film.
Right.
Watch an old Gamera
film. Well, the Gamera
film.
films at the time were like even more hardcore than the Godzilla ones at the time.
Yeah, I mean the old 60s Gamera. You want to watch
right. But I'm saying like what was coming out at the time for those kids. It's like you're gonna have to watch Space Godzilla because you're not Guardian of the Universe,
Yeah.
The kiddies can't watch that. Well, actually, Guardian of the Universe was 1999. No, it was definitely earlier than that. I think the U.S. release was 99 though. I don't know. No internet. I'm making shit up.
We're jumping monsters.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Ultraman. No, not yet.
No, but the late 60s, early 70s Godzilla stuff. I mean, it's classic. I don't want to go as far as saying camp, but some of them were camp.
Dude.
All right.
Godzilla curls his tail up and flies.
The smog. I don't.
He shakes hands with Jaguar after they beat up.
All right, there are a couple of bad ones. I give you the smog monster.
But then on the other hand, you have Mechagodzilla, where Godzilla's bleeding everywhere and just gets like absolutely wrecked. So it's like.
But then you have King Caesar.
You do have King Caesar.
So there's
in the same movie.
And it's not a Godzilla movie if there's not a group of girls or one girl or someone singing.
Has to sing. Even in the original, we have the choir of girls who sway the cold scientist's heart to save the world at the expense of his own creation.
So it's not a God.
It's not even a giant monster thing. It's like a Japanese thing. Like it's a cult. Even in Macross, like Robotech, they always have singing. Like that's a motif. I don't know. Someone explain that to me in the comments? Like, why is that? Where did that come from? I'm too
You know,
lazy.
break
to
out
look
a
it up.
guitar and do some riffs and do some,
I don't
you
know.
know. They just it's just.
You know, if you want to summon your moth monster, you gotta have two.
Oh no. That's.
You want to talk about the Mothra spin-off movies that came out?
No, let's. The best Godzilla moment ever was the remake where he's Godzilla is the spirit of all the crossed soldiers fallen in World War II.
All Out Monsters Attack.
Yeah.
That was the best one of the Millennium series.
And
We'll get to that.
Godzilla's face, he just looks like he's just pissed.
He's just like Satan. Like literal like lizard Satan.
He's just a total badass. And then Mothra, King Ghidorah.
And Anguirus.
Is it Anguirus or is this some other monster?
Oh no, it was Baragon.
Baragon.
Right? It was Baragon.
Are supposed to be three spirits of good. And
Godzilla just wrecks them.
Baragon just gets his
ass kicked. Like
handed to him.
Because we shouldn't be talking about this movie because I wanted to like go through each one. But
right,
this is just our introduction. We're just gonna fanboy geek out for this part.
Bear with us.
I'm sorry. But like they have like Anguirus or Baragon come out first, and they're just like, oh my god, it's Godzilla. They think this is Godzilla because this is like a total retcon because they retconned everything a lot in the Millennium series, and like he's like big, and then they find Godzilla and just towers over him. Like Baragon's like here, and like Godzilla's up there, and just beats the fuck out of him. And then like he's trying to like run away up this cliff, and Godzilla's like, fuck you, little shit. It's like kicks his ass. And like Godzilla's like literally evil. He's just like Ghidorah's the good guy in that film.
Ghidorah is the good. Ghidorah and Mothra are good monsters.
And then Godzilla's just like an asshole, but he still just desecrates everybody. And it's just like.
Yeah. And Mothra is trying to fly back to attack him from the back. Godzilla just turns around,
to 180 and just destroys it.
Hits him, and I dislike Mothra, and because Mothra for some reason always beats up on Godzilla, always gets the upper hand with her Mothra magic and the Twin Fairies, and it was great to see
just fucking died.
Mothra get pwned and just get vaporized,
destroyed, and she doesn't come back later. She's like, no, done.
And I had to call Rachel. Say, Rachel, you have to see this.
I remember this because my sister loves Mothra. She still does, but back in the day, it was like a huge Mothra fan.
And she was.
And we always show her this. Your favorite monster just gets eviscerated.
Mothra just gets. The monster just evaporates.
Yeah, just like.
And I'm like, that's what would happen if Godzilla really fought Mothra.
Like if we actually.
End of story.